This is just, I'm gonna share it to my personal page. Don't mind me. I'm just share it to my personal page. And what I want to do is I want to change this entire rally to, we were talking off camera, and I had a nice little keynote, or keynote-ish, and I was gonna dominate that keynote. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna share it, and I'm gonna let y'all attack me. I give you free, you can cut it off now, whatever you can do. I give you freeness to attack me, okay? If you're online, attack me in questions. Ask me the hardest questions possible. I even give you, Google tough questions to answer, to ask a presidential candidate. You can even do that. Get some help, okay? You gonna attack me? I know, it's so hard. I know. She worked for me, so she can't attack me because I hold her paycheck. I understand. But attack me anyway. Or, you know what? Just ask tough questions. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah.
Or ask questions your mama would ask.
Okay.
Does that make you feel better?
Yeah.
Ask questions your sister would ask.
Okay.
A little comfortable? Ask questions your sorors would ask. There you go. That should make you feel real good. That should make you feel good. What is it? Is it soup? No.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it? Okay. I've never pledged. I do got degrees, but I never pledged because I don't really follow rules too much. So that's all good. So you ask questions. Everybody got me? I'm going to give you some parameters in which you should be asking me. You should be asking me about homosexuality. Give me some legalization of marijuana. Huh? Which already got, really? You going to do me like that? That was the Demon Regroup behind the camera said abortion. All right, then. Don't get tougher than that. You want a man talking about abortion. All right, then. That's fine. You got some more.
If the question comes up, I'm just saying, Social Security.
Social Security. But she wants a man clearly talking about abortion. So you didn't even. So apparently I pay her check. So she ain't got no problem putting me on the spot. All right, let's go. I'm done talking. Come on, give me some questions. That's all this rally is about, asking me questions. Actually, you know what? Let me say one more thing. It is important that you drop comments. Comments weigh more than anything else. Get on Facebook, put some comments. I don't mind if you get on your phone and disconnect from me. I know that you can do two things at one time. Comments are most important. Share, like, please do that. And I would like a picture with all of you before we leave. That's cool. But what I want you to do for sure is drop those comments, because the comments are what's most important, at least to the algorithm. Is that fair? All right, let's go. I'm done. Come on, somebody ask me a question. Got a question. My man got a question.
All right. How you doing? My name is Matthew Daniels.
Matthew Daniels.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to start it off with this. Two-part question. Are you familiar with the bill HR 40 that everybody's talking about lately?
I am.
Okay. So, for those of you that aren't familiar
Thank you.
with the bill, HR 40, they're more or less in a nutshell, they're talking about reparations, right? And they're trying to get a committee organized in which they can analyze the effects of slavery on African Americans, which I am one of, the descendants of slaves, African Americans here in America, and how to best give us our reparations and basically repair the damage that was done to us through our slavery. So I wanted to know if you were for HR 40, against HR 40, and just your whole take on reparations. Do you think we deserve it? Do you think we should get it? How do you feel about that?
All right. Now, you had some other questions inside of there that were implicit. Do you mind if I answer those too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can answer all of them.
Good. So I can answer all of them. All right. Let's start backwards, because they asked the question, do you think we deserve it? This is not a question of deserving. Reparations, in this case, is a right. You understand what I'm saying? This is not a matter of deserving. We got to put some weight on that, though. But let's just talk about the deserving of reparations. You don't deserve an apology. Is that fair? And neither do you deserve to catch up from being 17 generations behind. It was designed that way, and it still is designed that way today. Is that fair? The concise answer to your question of HR 40 is I'm for reparations. I have plenty more to say on that, though. I'm for reparations if a few things happen. Okay? I'm telling you straight up. But the answer is I am for reparations. And the other answer is, and you got like 8 more questions in there. This ain't a matter of do you deserve something. If I slap you right now, do you deserve for me to apologize to you or for you to retaliate? Of course you deserve. You understand what I'm saying? Because this isn't a matter of deserving. We were African American. I even hate that term. That's African American is a term that came out in the 80s. Jesse Jackson was responsible for that, or mostly responsible for that. But the truth is, there's no such thing as African American. If anything, everybody else is African American because the whole world came from Africa.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? The more concise or sympathetic thing is, I am for reparations as long as anyone who receives them must take financial literacy classes. Period, point blank. Now, to some people who may be what self-help books will call poor-minded, that sounds bad. But what's the point of giving back to who you believe has a systematic oppression or a systematic system of oppression? What's the point of giving all your money back to them? That doesn't make sense. It makes more sense of getting a reparations check and being able to pass it in your family 16, 17 times per dollar every time before it comes out your community. You get it? So my answer is not, I'm being very transparent. I'm not giving you an answer of, like, I'm not even being political with this answer. I probably just lost some voters with this answer. But the truth is, we have to learn how to make sure our money, since you're asking from an African American perspective, I would like to say that I'm black too. I would like to say it's not just pigment in my skin. I think I'm a Negro. You understand? Okay. And that being said, our money doesn't do anything in our community. If there's no community, there's no economy. And what happens, we wonder why other people are at a greater advantage than us. Well, the truth is, the short answer is they got your money. They have 2 checks. They have their check, and then they have our check that we can't wait to give them. Dame Dash, do you mind if I come down? And you know Dame Dash is, right? Yeah, come on. I'm like totally not being political right now. We're gonna go to Rockefeller, Dame Dash, okay? Dame Dash has a YouTube video in which he explains how black people won't even buy from other black people because the moment they do, it's not cool to buy from them no more. We got to get out that mentality. We gotta stop thinking it's not cool to buy from Sparkle cakes because the moment I do, cakes ain't cool no more because I want them cakes. We have to stop getting to the point where if you vote for me, you're not cool. And that's the main problem with our money. So I don't want to just give reparations, I do, to people who haven't fixed the problem of our money. Because the only thing we're going to do is make richer the people. In fact, let me not even say the people. Let me change that. All we're going to do is make richer everyone else but us. So I am for. I'm telling you, here's, if you want a sound, I already gave you my soundbite in the beginning. If you want a quotable, I am for reparations, but we need to jump up to financial literacy so we can catch it. So as long as you give some reparations and you have to take some financial classes, I'm for that. That's no different than getting housing. You have to do certain things to get housing. And nobody has a problem with that because they said, the dominant culture said, all right, that's cool. As long as the dominant culture says something, we agree with it. If I say something that says I don't look like your oppressor, if I can be real with you, you can't agree with me. We need to make sure that we give out money and we can protect money at the same time. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right, that was real woke. You're more than welcome. Punch back at me. I lost like half of my fan base just now. But I am not for keeping you sleep. I am for creating an opportunity for all of us, the whole 97. I have a responsibility to black people. If you're wondering if I have a black agenda, let me tell you, I have a black agenda. Okay, if that's one of your questions, you can cross that off. But I don't just or only have a black agenda, because you can't do that. The 97% in which I'm running for aren't just black. And that's not appropriate to only have a black agenda. But I will stand flat-footed right here as a presidential candidate and be the only presidential candidate that would use the two words together: black agenda. Period. Ain't damn one of them gonna say it.
Yeah. No.
Not one of them. And I'm telling you, I got one. But not only one, because there should be a Mexican agenda. That's offensive. There should be a Latino agenda. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There should be a European agenda, mm-hmm. an Asian agenda, because they have an agenda.
Yes.
We have separation.
Mm.
Fair enough?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm done talking. Back to anybody else.
Oh, this is a question.
Wait, let me stop you right quick. Have you commented? Not y'all. I know y'all like in tune. Have you commented? It's okay. You can throw me out some hate stuff. It's all good. I did some push-ups this morning. I can handle some hate. It's all good, right? Just throw some stuff out there in the comments and I will answer. You got a question online? Mm-hmm. Question online. Don't tell me their name.
No.
Good, because I may know them and I don't. I just want to give you real answers.
Uh-huh.
All right.
How can we believe in a person that's in the 3% to actually care about the 97%?
But you know what? First off, I'm in the top 1%. Okay. Don't discount my money like that. That's number one. Okay? That's number one. But I'm Antonio T. Smith Jones. I'm gonna be who I am regardless, okay? In a suit or not a suit, in the White House or not. I'm in the top 1%. Thank you very much. But that the question in itself is fundamentally flawed, but fair. It's fair. Because what happens when you get to my level is they involve you to dissolve you. And this is, whoever's asking this question, I don't know who, that's why I don't want you to tell me. You said I know him though, but I don't want to know. What happens with this question is it comes from experience. All you know is we get and then we leave. As soon as I get something, I stop risking my reputation. I start protecting what I have. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is once we get enough, whatever enough is, it could be enough votes, enough money, enough church members, depending on what category you're in. Once we get enough, we stop answering questions. We stop risking our reputation. We stop the mission and we create laws around enough to protect it. And that's true. That's experience. So this person is coming from a very experienced place. Nobody like me has ever come back and do what I'm doing. It's not. So I feel you. I respect what you're saying. With all due respect, that ain't got nothing to do with me. It don't. Because if you follow my track record, look at every company I've ever built. Look at all the information I give away free online. I dare you to go to my Facebook page, click videos, and see how nobody is giving away millions of dollars of information. How no one is teaching cognitive behavioral therapy on overcoming low self-esteem just so you can get out of it. How nobody's teaching you how to get past anger. How nobody's teaching you if you want to be a millionaire, you need 3 things: to have a product, a business system, and to serve people. Nobody out there is coming back and saying, hey, this is what you need to get out your situation. Don't even worry about paying me. I got you. So my track record already answers your question. I've already done this, not just now, since 2009. Since 2009, I have already given away more free information that leads to billions of dollars. I didn't get into the top 1% until, I don't know, whatever year. It doesn't matter, right? I've been doing it. And after I was there, I still did it. And I still do it. Let my harvest be the answer to your question. Fair enough? Okay. Come on. Yeah, it's easy. Come on, give me some hard stuff.
What do you feel about teachers not getting paid their worth?
That pisses me off. That's not a political term, but we're going to work with it, right? It pisses me off. Teachers, which level of teachers? Because I got answers for all of them.
All of them.
All right, all of them. Teachers not getting paid what they deserve is despicable. My campaign slogan is, what is it?
Rise of the 97.
What, Rise of 97. See, I'm smart, right? So I got two of them. But it's our time. Our time is now. It's a campaign slogan. But the Rise of the 97, they create two different emotional responses. You know, it's like you got hope we can believe in, and yes, we can. Right? All right, good, right? So you get what I'm saying? So I'm kind of smart with the marketing, you feel me? I'm kind of smart with the marketing, so I got the Rise of the 97, because I'm trying to let you know we're all connected. I don't want you to understand if I say I got a black agenda that I'm Xing anybody out. You know what I'm saying? I just want you to know that we're all connected. But it's our time now. And our time is now is the thing. That being said, I almost made the campaign stuff, but it was negative though. It was negative. It was. I wanted to go common sense politics, but I couldn't do that. It sound hot. I could hear people chanting, common sense politics. I heard it. It was like marketable. You know what? I'd already be the front runner right now had I did it. I'd already be the front runner because it got enough attention, but I couldn't do it because I have some core beliefs that say we're all connected. And I didn't want to just tell everybody you're not doing common sense. You know what I'm saying? That being said, it's common sense to pay teachers. You know why it's common sense to pay teachers? Because if you look at the budget, it's less than 2% of our budget goes to education. That don't make no damn sense. It don't. When you think about a budget, if you were going to be, you know what? Let's take it out of education. Let's take it out of a government right now. Because any teacher works for the United States government, whether it be on the state level or federal level. Your government, if it's independent school district, you are a governmental employee. Now, let's just take it out of that, and let's put it in your own life. If I was to tell you, you know what, Matthew, got you. I want you to learn how to be a millionaire. It's gonna be good, but only spend 2 cents for every dollar on education. Would that make sense to you? It don't make sense. If I said, Tori, every 2 cents for every dollar you get, buy a book. What book you gonna buy? So why are we doing that to education as a whole? Would you like a woke answer?
Please.
Our education system does 2 things very well. Okay, it's the third thing, but I won't say it unless somebody woke asks it. Okay, but 2 things very well. Thing number 1, it teaches you how to be an employee. Thing number 2, it teaches you nationalism. That's it. You are in public school to have love for your country, which you should. I'm not against that. But please know, would you like the third one? Because anybody will. I say yeah. It's that school to prison pipeline. You know what I'm saying? That's the third thing school is supposed to do. It's supposed to weed people back to free labor. But we'll get to that if somebody asks you. That's what it's supposed to happen. It's designed that way. This is why your child is important until 9:45 in the morning. Am I lying?
Nope.
Your child is I can send you to jail. I can send you to jail until 9:45 in the morning. After that, you know what? That's your child. That's what we do. And it's not appropriate. I have a major issue with that because our budget isn't properly itemized properly. The concise answer is, if I were to tell you to spend 2 cents for education on your own personal development, don't forget your schooling. Don't confuse your schooling with your education. If I was to tell you to spend 2 cents to become a millionaire, you look at me like you wouldn't even let me be your coach. You wouldn't. But the government is telling you it's proper that we spend 2 cents on your education. And you went, you know what? You sure right. Now, see, the problem is not our government. The problem is us. The problem is the 97%. The problem is we wanted to be comfortable. The problem is we wanted to say, you know what? Don't show me the news. Just let me eat my popcorn. Let me watch my Netflix and just let me be. That's the real problem. The real problem's us, not the government. Look at the Constitution. We can overthrow the government at any time. But we have no need to. Because as long as I'm doing better than you, America's okay. Next question.
There's another education question online. You just said you feel.
Well, hold on. Stop right there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I want to clarify. So when someone reports to the newspaper what I said that we use our own budget better than the government uses its budget on education. That's why I have a problem with teachers being underpaid. Okay, go ahead.
You just said you feel all teachers should get raises. What are your thoughts on homeschool versus public schools?
I actually think whoever claps for you. Right. Texas is real easy to homeschool. In other states, it's not. I'm actually for homeschool. As a matter of fact, I homeschool all my kids. I have 3 of them, okay? I homeschool my kids. Do you understand what I'm saying? Homeschool does a lot of things well. Now, I have no issue with public school. I have an issue that the teachers can't teach no more because we're all about standardized testing. Mm-hmm. I have also an issue that we know, anybody wealthy knows that specialized knowledge makes you rich. General knowledge makes you an employee. But school, up until a master's level, is only general knowledge. When you get a bachelor's degree, you take nothing but general knowledge until you get to 18 hours in your junior and senior year. And then we don't say you have a degree in that. We say you have a concentration in that. You got to be careful with these words. That we're lullabying you to sleep. We're not saying you have a bachelor's in accounting. We're saying you have a bachelor's in science with a concentration in accounting. That's why I don't pay you what you deserve. Because you ain't did nothing that I deserve to pay you more. This is the system. I'm trying to wake some folk up. Yeah, drop some comments. I probably shouldn't do this. I should probably give y'all a lot of candy. What? You said I shouldn't do it? They ought to say, "Oh my God, that's your campaign manager. You shouldn't do this." She says, "Oh, y'all couldn't see it. If I showed y'all how to carry, she was like, "Oh my God, please don't do this. Go back to the candy we talked about."
Because normally when you say, "Should I do this?"
That means no.
Okay. Ain't no candy tonight. We do candy in the next round. Okay. Homeschooling is a big deal, and it should be. Homeschooling allows you to teach your child the general educational fundamentals as fast as possible. And then it allows for you to double down on your child's strengths, and only that. Because we need to stop making our children well-rounded. I'll explain to you. Some children are knives. Their only job is to cut through obstacles. I was one of those kids. You put a knife on a steak, some cardboard, that knife gonna do its job. But then when you wear around the knife, you end up with a long spoon. You take the edges and you make it real dull. Now you got this long spoon. Now you're trying to cut through cardboard or cut steak with a spoon. And then you get mad at the child for being spoon-like. Because you told the child, well, you need to learn everything. No, a child does not need to learn everything. The only person who needs to know everything is 2 people, as far as I'm concerned. We like to know 2 people. I'm talking about Kevin Garnett and LeBron James. That's it. They wear around it. I obviously need to know how to play point guard and shooting guard. If you don't understand basketball, that's okay. I'll give you a football example. Tom Brady only need to know how to be quarterback. He didn't know how to do no running back. If you made Tom Brady a punter, he'd have been injured in his 3rd year. If you said, Tom Brady, your speed is slow, which it is. Tom Brady, go back there and return punts. What? And he'd been injured on the first tackle. We have a problem deforming our children by making them well-rounded. So what your child can't read? It's really good at math. See, everybody can't accept that. So everybody can't process that. you don't need to know how to read at an expert reading level. Can you do math? Can you computer program? Can you build video games from scratch? Are you an animator? Now, if y'all don't believe that, I'll say it this way with statistics. Is that fair for you? And I'm going to use big tech companies to prove this point. Apple, Google, and Microsoft in 2019 has has waived the 4-year degree requirement. And the largest companies in the world, they say you don't even need a 4-year degree. And other big tech companies are expected to follow. Because education, in the way you see it, the general education, is not as important. Homeschool teaches more specialized education according to the child's strength than public school. Do I have a problem with public school? No. Do I have a problem with standardized testing? Yes, everybody does. You know what I'm saying? But what we need to be doing is we need to be focusing on Matthew's strengths, not go play baseball. Maybe his hand-eye coordination ain't too well. But you know what he can do? He can tuck a football in his hand right here and run. We need to stop doing that. Stop making your children well-rounded. Well-rounded equals working for me. Specialized knowledge equals running for president. Okay. Wait. Keep the online questions coming. Let me get something right here. Because Matthew was like, wait a minute, I'm ready. Get back to the phone. No. Keep the online questions coming. Please, keep them. I'm coming back to you. Go ahead, though.
I kind of want to touch on what you said earlier about that third reasoning for the public school education system, that school to prison pipeline.
Yes, that.
I kind of want to ask a question about that because we all know, according to the numbers, that African Americans are disproportionately incarcerated at a higher rate than any other ethnicity in America.
Absolutely.
And we also know, I assume you would agree with me, that the America as a whole, our country's incarceration rate is higher than any other nation in the world.
Yep.
So if we know that the incarceration rate in America is higher than any other nation in the world, and the highest ethnicity group incarcerated inside of America is African Americans, as an African American, I would like to know that if you become president or when you become president, right, what would you specifically do to change that dynamic? How would you address that? Because it's out of control, in my opinion.
First off, let me give you a fist pound for that. Such a wonderful question. Thank you very much. I had to actually go grab my phone because I wanted to pronounce the bill that I'm going to kill as soon as possible. All right, I wanted to pronounce it correctly. I want to pronounce the bill that got this started. I heard where you was going, but I want to pronounce it correctly. Because I'm gonna say, because it has a nickname. Let me just do it this way. All right, the nickname. Oh, wait. Let's see. I'm coming. The Criminal Act was the nickname of it. Let's see. You know who did it that we won't admit did it, but it happened?
Oh, the Clintons?
The Clintons! You see what I'm saying? He gets his education outside of school. You ain't learned that from school. There's no way you did. There's no way you did. All right, I'm looking for a real quick. It's like the Omnibus Care Act. Somebody looked it up for me real quick. I want to get to Omnibus Care Act. I'm looking at my phone real quick. Omnibus. It's like OMIN. Omnibus Care Act. I know the nickname, but I don't want no one to challenge what I'm saying, so I want to give the real Omnibus Crime Bill Act. I got it now. Omnibus let me do it Let me do it like the military do. Oscar Military November India Bravo Uniform Sierra. Okay, Omnibus Crime Bill. There were two major corporations. Would you like to just read my notes? I'm just reading my notes out to you.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I'm gonna do. Let's see. Let's see. This is actually for a book I've been writing, and it just happens to pop up. So here we go. I can't say that one. That's too real. Okay, can't say that one. That's too real. Can't say that one for this one. Here we go. Nope, can't say that one. That's too real. 40% of all black men are in America. 40% of all black men in America are in jail.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a sad. We are 13% of the country, but 13% of the country, which means what's half of 13?
6.5.
6.5. Only 6.5 of us exist,
Yeah.
but we populate 96% of the jail, and 40% of our men are in there. Something's clearly going on. You sure asked a lot of black questions. I ain't mad at you. All right, go ahead. All right. Now, since we don't have our own economies, this is me talking, not some research. Since we don't have our own economies and they have, too real. They have answered the, too real again. But I'm gonna give it to you this time. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, I don't want to. But in the civil rights, I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm gonna tell you that. But during the civil rights, we won, didn't we?
Quote unquote.
Fair enough, quote unquote. But then they had to figure out, man, what we gonna do with 37 million black people? I'm serious. What's what happened? And then comes the 90s. There will now be a new growth in industry in this country that will be owning and operating, building prisons and servicing them goods. In the 90s, we privatized the whole prison system. Here's real data for you. I dare you. In fact, as a matter of fact, for anybody that's going to fight me online, give me a second. Because I'm finna get beat up. Since I have a phone here.
Tread lightly.
No, I ain't treading lightly, but I'm going to post a link that will support what I'm about to say. That way, I don't get too beat up. Is that fair? I'm going to post a link of what I'm about to say. I'm going to post a link. This is a different presidential rally. Is that fair? I'm a phone in my hand. I would have picked up my phone if I knew, but I don't want to just, you just asking some real questions over there. I'm posting a link right now. You'll hear me. That's me. Boom. There you go. I'm posting that right now. Okay, I posted a link in there. Here's what happens. You're more than welcome to look up on the link. We now get paid, the private corporations. I won't name the corporations. I won't name them just now. Okay, no problem. They get $82,000 for every jail cell they build.
Wow.
Clinton did this. Okay? They get, do I have a problem with the Clintons? No, I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you that this happened. Clinton signed this bill. Pushed forward. You can go to YouTube and see wow emotional speeches about it. It actually happened. They get $82,000 for prison. Do some math for me, Grace. $82,000 for prisons. For every jail cell they build. $82,000. How would you like me to give you $82,000 right now?
It'd be nice.
It'd be nice, right? Yeah, exactly. Then check this out. And $27,000 per prisoner they put in the prison. How many prisoners go in one cell? Two. 27 times 2?
54.
54,000 just in prisoners. Plus the 82,000.
Yeah. 136.
I get $136,000 for one cell. I own it. Do you think I'm going to have a 10-cell prison? Do you think I'm going to have just one prison?
No.
Do you see how it is profitable to get in? It is profitable to create laws that push people to prison. Now, am I being a conspiracy theorist? No. We know this has happened. There's been a judge 9 years ago that got like 20 years just for selling black kids to prison. You look it up. Look it up. Okay. Just the black males and prisoners alone make $3 billion a year
Wow.
in economics. And black people don't get a penny of it. Okay, is that fair? Now, here we go. You asked a black question, I'm gonna give you a black answer, okay? Well, I'm not giving you a black answer, I gave you some black stuff. So here we go with the real answer and answer the solution. The problem is prisons are out of control. You said it yourself. You used the phrase out of control. And the problem, and now, and if you hear this as a black problem, this ain't no black problem. White people, they don't care about you no more. When you talking about the people in power who own these prisons, they put you in prison right next to me. Because you were, what was it, $154,000?
136.
You were $136,000 to me. That's just a start. It ain't got nothing to do. It's just a starter pack. It ain't got nothing to do with me using prisoners for construction contracts. We ain't even got to that money yet. We ain't even got to the money that where we pay 2 cents or you make 20 cents an hour and I keep, $17.80 an hour. We're not even talking about that. Like, forget the benefits from it. We just talking about the conservative dollar amount. Look it up. Omnibus Crime Act, 1992. Bill Clinton. Look it up. I'm not just making this up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just making it up. And what happened, once you privatize it that way, now it's smart to have prisons. I'm a capitalist. I make money. I completely have no problem from my capitalist brain understanding why they doing it. But I'm a human before I'm capitalist. Somebody asked me a question earlier, how do I know the top 3% and come back? Because I'm human. Because that's not right. What's worse than prison now is debt slavery. Debt slavery disproportionately affects white people more than it does black people. Black people have debt, but not the debt that white people have. White people, so the middle class economy, the middle class, most of their money is in their house. Their net worth is in their house, their money is in their house. Due to redlining, which I don't have time to explain unless y'all ask a question about it, redlining is when they redlined minority districts that couldn't get loans. There's a long explanation, but we'll just say that there. Couldn't get house loans back in the 60s, okay? Here's what happened after that. Now, white people have more wealth than us, but for every dollar you have wealth, every dollar you have debt. That's the way it works. And now you must, when you have debt slavery, when you're a Marine that comes back from the Army and must go get a job at Walgreens, Marine that comes back from the Army, Marine that comes back from the Marines, I'm sorry, I was in the Army, that has to go get a job at Walgreens so you can support your wife. Now what you're talking about is if you don't have this job, you don't pay this mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Because we'll have 8 people in one house, won't we? Come on.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You right now, right today, it's different on other days, but today I'm in front of an all black crowd. We'll be at grandmother house. You know how we say it. We don't say grandmother, grandmother house. And all 8 of us have a license on that one address. Don't act like, come on. All our mail go there. You know what I'm saying? All our mail go right there. You know what I'm saying? This is why I'm so encouraged and serious about 97%. So if you hear me well, because white people are disproportionately affected by debt slavery than black people or any other race. Because you have all the debt. You got the fancy car. You got the fancy house. You have to go to work at 10 o'clock at night at the corner office with a window. You can't leave because your daughter got recitals and your daughter's in cheerleading and your son's in football and you got to pay for college now. And the more they keep you in debt slavery is the more they own you. I'll explain and I'm done with this. American slavery, as you understand it, was Matthew go in that field. Now I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna give you a house. That's how I'm gonna pay you. Of course, that house gonna be on that field. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna feed you, but it's gonna be from a portion of the crops. You understand? So I'm sheltering you, and I'm feeding you. You don't need no money. I'm taking care of your needs. It's kind of a flip on a feudalism system. If the knight would say, "Hey, I'll protect you if you give me your freedoms." All right. Now what happens is they flip that. 97% of the people who are not black, please listen to me. You are no better off. In this system, stop the illusion. You are no better off than any of the black people I'm sitting in front of right now. You're not. Because they found a different way to oppress you. They did. What happens now is they say, "Oh, Amber, go to work. Pay for your own house. Pay for your own food. But I own you." You see the flip? It used to be, I'll pay for it. No. Now, you pay for it. But you still work for me. That's debt slavery. And it's everywhere. And if you don't believe me, by my calculations, 18 months from now or sooner, we'll be in the most fantastic recession you can think of. Worse than the last recession. And you'll see how debt slavery has done you. When the gas in your car becomes a bill, you are a slave to debt. Did I answer that? Answer that?
Yeah.
All right, good. No, go ahead. You give me another one.
Okay.
Keep them questions coming online. Is it? 4 online. Good.
You want to get to them?
Nah. Go ahead. We get to you first, and we get to 4 online.
Okay.
Look, hold on, let me just pause real quick.
Yeah.
All I'm doing in this round, I'm just answering tough questions. Everybody asks me tough questions, right? So when y'all make this go viral and you talk about me and your Republican groups or your Democratic groups, I'm neither. I'm neither Republican or Democrat. I'm woke. I'm a capitalist. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about me bad, I'm just answering tough questions because no other candidate will do so. Is that fair? All right, go ahead.
I kind of want to ask a question in a different vein, centered around climate change, right? We know that in 2017, President Trump made the declaration that he wanted to withdraw the United States from that Paris climate agreement.
He did.
Okay? So I just want to know, if you become president, do you believe that climate change is real, and do you feel like something needs to be done about it?
The problem with Congress is Congress don't look like America. Not in color, nor in jobs. Congress is full of politicians. What is a politician? Someone who majored in social whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't no scientist. Well, actually, we got one now. We got one scientist in the 2000, I think it was 19 or 18. We got one, less than a year now, we got one scientist in Congress for the first time ever. My answer to you is climate change is real. Because science, right?
Exactly.
I don't disagree with science. If I jump off this, we're on the second floor right now. If I jump off this building, I can be Republican all I want to. I'm still going to fall. You understand? Because somebody said that 9.86 meters a second, I'm going to fall. They call that gravity. It was Mr. Newton, by the way, Isaac. You know what I'm saying? It was just understanding science. Right now, everybody's heart and lungs are working. Your heart is beating, your lungs is contracting, and then retracting. That's science, ain't it? I don't get to disagree with that. I don't get to disagree. If I stab you, you're going to bleed. That's science. And so is climate change. You understand what I'm saying? Every action has an opposite and equal reaction. We can't double negative. We can't not take care of the world and then expect for the world to take care of us. Now, here's how all reactions happen. Everything eventually comes back. Well, that's not right. Second law of thermodynamics states that everything goes from order to disorder Entropy is what it's called. Atrophy. Yeah, entropy is what it's called. It means that if you put an apple on that table right there, that apple will go from red to brown, disintegrate, and go back into the ground in which it came from and feed the animals and insects on the ground. Mm-hmm. Then the animals will eat those insects, and those animals would then eat those animals would eat those animals would defecate, then the rain will wash the defecation and the protein down, and then the oxygen will put all that off, and then we will be able to breathe because of that cycle. That's what you call it, biosphere? No, it's not biosphere. Ecosystem. Thank you. That's ecosystem. You get it? Everything on this planet Earth serves us. That means at some point this Earth will unravel. It will go from order to disorder. It ain't our job to speed it up. Here's what's worse in Congress today. We create... Let me rephrase what I'm saying. It's actually going to be worse. Not just worse in Congress today, but then yesterday, when your mama was born, when your grandma was born, and when your grandmother's mother was born. Congress continues to write laws they won't live, but the children will have to fix. And that's the truth. We write laws and say, well, I ain't got to worry about it. My kids do. What does that do for the 97%? Nothing. But make us have to pay your taxes. I mean, taxes as a metaphor. We got to pay for your ignorance, for your arrogance. Climate change is real. I'm in Southeast Texas right now. It's still cold. It's April. That don't make no sense. But it's been happening the last 3 years, ain't it? Don't confuse weather with climate. What's my man's name? The scientist, love him to death. He was just accused of
Tyson, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. He was vindicated, by the way.
Yeah.
He was vindicated by the way. Neil deGrasse Tyson explains it best this way. You're walking down the beach with a dog, and the dog's pattern is so random, it's weather. But if you look on the long term of that pattern, you see, although the dog was going left and right, you can see this straightness that the dog was doing. Is that fair? Mm-hmm. That's climate. The dog going left and right, you look at the weather, you never see the straightness. We are clearly in climate change. Hurricanes are stronger, typhoons are stronger. Mm-hmm. It's just too much. Blizzards, tornadoes last. Tornado used to be on the ground for 20 minutes. Now a storm system can go from the plains to the other half of the plains for days, and the tornado can last on the ground for an hour. Climate change is real, bro. I don't know what to tell you. It's because I'm not a politician. You know what I'm saying? I'm a scholar, and I'm a scientist. I don't know what to tell you. And I'm a capitalist first and foremost. Let me just tell you that straight up. I can't stress that one enough. Because you need to learn how to make money so they don't make money on your back. That was too woke. I apologize. Let's get one of these questions online. Did that do you right?
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it.
Okay. I like the answer, but how do you propose we educate those who would be recipients of reparations check?
There's a few ways to do that. So the question was, I like the answer. How do you suppose we educate those that would be recipients of reparation checks? There's a few answers there that I would have to tackle. Let's start with the most woke first, and then we'll go down practically. I say this with respect. Let's just take black people for a second, okay? Just for a second. And I'm going to take it from black people, and I'm going to take it to people in general. But the answer is going to be the same. Black people had slavery first. Now, that's not black history. That's black American history. Okay. Slavery first. What came next? slavery got abolished, but what came next?
Sharecropping?
Okay, well, that was smart. Sharecropping came next. Sharecropping is in Think and Grow Rich. Remember, it was the 6-year-old sharecropper
Yeah.
that defeated the uncle.
Right.
All right. Then after sharecropping came Jim Crow. Then after Jim Crow came civil rights. Fair? Okay. And then after that came school to prison pipeline system. All right. That's where we at right now. It was the federal government that saved black people each time. Pause. I say this with respect, but it was never the state government. It's processing information. I am for limited power with the federal government. I am. But I also recognize the diversity or the contradiction that I wouldn't even be able to run for president if it was not for the federal government. Do you understand? Did the states end slavery? Did the states end sharecropping? No. The answer is no to all these. I'm giving you the answer to the text. Just circle C on the Scantron. Okay? I'm giving you the answer to the text. Did these states stop? Did the states stop Jim Crow?
No.
No. It's the federal government each time. Which now brings me back to the most woke part of that question. In order to do a lot of financial education, is the federal government's going to have to step in. Federal government's going to have to step in, but it makes sense this time. I'm not really for large government. You get it? Because it don't really make sense. Because we have sovereign states. We need a balance, checks and balances. We need a balance. If you want to bite me and put me on your blog tomorrow, I am not for large government. I ain't for small government. I'm libertarian either. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you that in order for us to get to financial literacy for 325 million Americans, federal government's going to have to step up. Now, there's a way to do it that stimulates the economy. I've thought mighty hard about this, okay? The way to do it that stimulates the economy, let me first explain the economy to you. The way the economy works is when you get money, you must spend it. If you don't spend it, the economy breaks. Because when you spend money, it becomes income for someone else. And then when you become income, you must spend that income or the economy breaks. It's a two-way cycle. It goes spending, income, spending. If that stops, the economy breaks. This is why in 2008, when the housing crash happened and everybody was broke, they had to give, let's say, stimulus. Now at the time, Republicans demonized the stimulus, but it was the only proper way to do it. I'm not backing Obama in this case. I'm telling you, had you not created spending, you lose your economy. Don't confuse propaganda with what is intelligence. You understand what I'm saying? The banks weren't loaning money, so you can't spend. You couldn't make money, so you can't spend. So the only possible way the federal government had to send out $500 checks to everybody. Or whatever it was. I don't remember what it was. I made too much money at the time to get a stimulus check. Or maybe I did get one. I'm not even sure. But either way, I ain't got a tax return. Then I put my tax bitch back. You almost got me. All right. Now, the federal government is going to have to step in and do that. Here's the best way to do it. Who do you ask? No, online ask me. I'm just feeling your energy. That's all I do. The best way to do that is to create stimulus packages for fiduciaries. See, I ain't heard that word. Not financial advisor, because that don't mean nothing. A financial advisor is a bunch of crap. I dare you to Google fiduciary. FID, okay? Fiduciaries have a moral and a legal obligation to do what's best in your financial backing. You know what I'm saying? They have to do what's right. If you're going to invest your money, get a fiduciary, not a financial advisor, analyst, whatever. If you want to make somebody run, I did that to your person. Yeah, I did that to. Is she on camera? No, put on camera. I did that to the lady who was over your retirement. I asked her, "You a fiduciary?" And she had a big old frog in her throat. Because her job, she got mad at me because I gave her financial advice. Her job was to do what was best for her commission, not for her. A fiduciary is legally obligated to do what's best for you. The government can start a fiduciary program to hire plenty fiduciaries, plenty, which gives people jobs. Now that's job stimulation, right? And then people run to the fiduciaries to get sound financial advice that's legally backed up by the federal government. I'm on it right now. I feel my fire going, right? And then what happens, you get this financial knowledge. Once you complete certain courses, you get this income with your reparations. I think that was a question I was supposed to answer, right? And then what happens is two ways happen. When you hire the fiduciary, when you create the program for the fiduciary, that's income going to the program, whoever owns it, yes? Stimulating the economy. Can I keep my weight on it? Then when the fiduciary gets the money, they spend and they go to Walmart and Target and Whataburger. Oh, I'm sorry, we're in Texas. It's on whatever fast food restaurants, all this stuff. Whataburger, it should be everywhere, but it ain't everywhere, right? It ain't everywhere. Then they go spend, man. They go buy toilet paper and toothbrushes and all that stuff because they get the money to the place. Then they get the money, and that spending becomes income. That income becomes spending. We ain't even got to you yet. We just stimulated the economy on the business side. Now what happens is we get your money. You say, all right, get my reparations. Now you know what to do with it. That don't mean you gonna do with it. But as long as you spend, you're gonna spend regardless. It still stimulates the economy. We just want you to spend to where you protect your family. Because your child can't inherit your food stamps. If you are dropping comments for me, please put that in quotations. Your child cannot inherit food stamps. Can't. Just absolutely cannot. Is that fair? All right. Yes, sir.
Speaking of children, since you just mentioned the child, I don't want no yes or no answer to this one.
I'm going to give it to you. As real as transparent I'm being.
Good deal. No, good deal. How do you feel about abortion? Like for it, against it, in what circumstances? Why?
There's no way I can give you a yes or no answer.
There's no way. Yeah.
Nobody on planet Earth. Nobody on planet Earth can give you. They give you a yes or no answer because they're appealing to their base. And I respect that because the goal is to win, right? Again, I'm a capitalist. I am not about lullabying you to sleep because I'm woke. At the same time, I'm about my money. I'm just about, I got that Zig Ziglar going on. The more money I make you, is the more money I make me. You get it? Which is the only way the universe actually works. Abortion is a slippery slope. You have a few options here, but they're all in one option. I believe abortion should get out of the hands of the states back into the federal government. For the same reason that I'm telling you that the federal government only saved black people. Now, I'm not making this a black or white issue, but I am not woke enough to tell you that most abortion clinics are sitting in urban areas. Don't get it twisted. Like, I completely understand. I'm not making it a black and white issue. But if you go to any urban area, you go any black area, let me say it the way, okay? You will see a Planned Parenthood. I'm not making it that, but I'm telling you the data says. But that's not what I'm trying to do here. The federal government normally does things for the whole. Now, we got some options here, and we got to employ all these options at the minimum. At the minimum. We need to stop making sex so taboo. Anything you outlaw, we do. That's facts. I can assure you the French government, which has sex on TV, ain't as polarized on sex as the American government. But we will show black men getting shot on Facebook Live. We call R-rated slitting somebody's throat.
Right.
X-rated is showing a naked body. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not advocating for naked bodies in movies. I'm just telling you our thinking here. Our thinking is murder, okay. Nudity, not. You get it?
Yeah.
So don't come at me talking about abortion is murder. But when you glorify murder on TV and only the top selling movies of all time is full of murders. You're a hypocrite. You're a vegetarian wearing leather shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't hold both of these together. You can't be racist and Christian. You can't hold these two things together. Abortion has some tricky nuances to it. Some women are absolutely raped. I mean, for real, because we have a rape culture in America in which we blame the victim. And I'm saying some, but I'm not even being fair when I say some. So many to where we got, what is it, Law and Order CSI, which is on this 50th season. I don't know if it's 50, but it ain't too far from 50. It ain't too far from 50 where we, it's not fair. It's not fair what we do. It's not fair to say, hey, I know you were raped, but you know what? Remind yourself of this rape every time you throw up. Then give birth, and for the next 18 years, look at your rapist. You get it?
Can't do that. Can't say that.
Can't say what?
No, I'm saying a man can't, a man can't really offer too much of his opinion on the circumstance. And
You understand?
In that scenario.
I'm out of line talking about abortion in the first place. You understand what I'm saying? But that's the problem with our men who look a certain way write abortion laws. Which is bringing me down to my second point. The federal government should do it. But we should empower a team of unbiased women and biased women. You get what I'm saying? And then let them establish laws for their own bodies.
I agree with that.
And I'll push it further. Contraceptive laws need to be established by women. But you need opposing viewpoints though. You need lifers and choicers. And you need to have them hash it out to where you can get a synthesis of both views. But you need to let women create laws for women and stop letting men tell women what to do with their bodies. But that will only happen on the federal government's level.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying that. 'Cause you're right. Come on, man. Imagine if a woman was to say, in fact, a woman did it last year. It was so funny to me. A woman introduced a law. She wasn't trying to get it carried away, but a woman introduced a law last year. She said that men, she introduced a law, something like outlawing Viagra and a man's erection in public. Something like that. I'm not even lying. How many of y'all just got offended right now? All my fellas in the room got offended right now. That's what we doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we doing. We telling women you can't breastfeed in public. You can breastfeed in public. We telling women to do it. We need to concisely. We need the federal government to take control over that. I'm not trying to take power from the states. This is the second time I've taken power from the states. But it's only on these issues that the states have messed up for 100 years. I've seen that movie before. I've seen the states mess up this movie. So I'm not here to keep the same terrible product on the shelf trying to push it to you. Let's move the product, put one product on the shelf that works. That's what capitalism comes in at, right? We need to let women decide what to do with their bodies, but we need to make sure these women have federal authority to do so, and we need to have opposing viewpoints and forward viewpoints over it. And we need to have the same way we have NATO. It's the same way we need the NATO. Y'all know what NATO is, right? Okay, good. The same way we have the world's superpowers getting together, is the same way we need to have the women superpowers getting together. We do. because it don't make no sense that women just start driving in Saudi Arabia. But that's not an American issue. But it just tells you what happens when men create laws for women. Is that fair? Whew, y'all got me out here today. Go ahead.
Several online.
Several. Let's get all the online. Well, let's get about 3 or 4 online questions, and we'll go back in August.
Okay. How do we deal with the homosexual society? That's not what.
You do not deal with the homosexual society. I'm so sorry. I have no idea who asked that question. You owe me push-ups. You do not deal with the homosexual society because there is no homosexual society. It is society. I don't even know how to address this. I'm going to attempt to address this on the spot in kindness. We are all connected. Is that fair? You know, the question is fundamentally flawed.
Right.
If you treat people like they're caged animals, they're going to behave like caged animals. I am not comparing the homosexual fight to the civil rights fight that black people had to do. But homosexuals, as you call it, I would never say that, is fighting for civil rights. It's not the same, but it's the same. Does that make sense? Like at no point am I trying to like deflower or degrade their fight. You're just not getting hung in trees. So we gotta call a spade what a spade is, right? You know, as a matter of fact, the LBGT community is running the world. They're the richest people in the world. Blacks ain't. Is that fair? So all right, cool. Now, you don't deal with the homosexual society. What you do is you take it the same. We're such a sexually oppressed nation that any sex is bad. Period. But the people who are calling sex bad are the people that are the worst about sex. Did you know that everybody over 50, the highest demographic, or excuse me, the most popular or populated demographic talking about homosexuality, 50 and up. They also share the most STDs amongst the different demographic. Now, don't let me drop these facts. I'm going to tell you what it is. The same people that's saying don't do this for sex. It's the same people doing this for sex. You understand? It's not right. We have a problem with it. And again, I don't mean to be insensitive to your view or your religious view. But your religious view, especially if you're Christian, says love and kindness leads to repentance. It doesn't say you're gay, you're going to hell. Can I push that further? I shouldn't, but I will. There's nowhere, and I am a scholar in the Christian Bible from Houston Baptist University, bachelor's and master's. I'm just going to say that. I don't want no problems when I say this sentence. Ain't no scripture in the Bible that cuts off salvation for someone who's gay. Not one. As a matter of fact, it goes so far to say a sin is a sin. We cut off salvation. That's a problem. All right, well, I'm not making this a salvific issue. I just don't want my kids to see that. They already see it. Have you went back and watched Ren and Stimpy? Remember, if you just go back and watch the shows that we used to watch, it's been a gay agenda out there. And so what? So what? I'm serious. So what? Because I get to have a black agenda, don't I? That's one of the first things I said, right? So now I'm stopping the gay agenda. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense that I'm woke enough to say, you know what, black people are struggling. And not be fair enough to say, so are gay people. Which in itself, since I'm educated in homosexuality, is that what they say, homosexuality? Gay is, it's not even a fair term. It's not. It's I was in HBU, and I won't say their name. They educated me. They had, was a girl, in your understanding. But they weren't a girl. They were a boy, but they weren't a boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you can't call me that. You gotta call me they, right? And they're being very nice, though, right? Very nice. And they still on my page right now. We're actually pretty good friends. And all I had to do was get educated in their struggle to immediately have empathy for their struggle. Y'all ain't heard me. If you learn Spanish, you immediately have empathy for Latinos. If you learn how to cook soul food, you immediately have empathy for black people. Learn Mandarin, you have empathy. Anytime you educate yourself on something, you gain empathy for whatever you educate yourself on. We kill what we don't understand. How many of y'all like rats? Because you don't understand them. You don't know if this rat got rabies. Come on, don't lie. You don't know if that one goes to you, right? You don't know how many more is behind the walls. Since you don't understand it, when you see a rat gotta go. Is that fair? I got to kill this rat, a total kill. Then you even, if you can't stomp on it, then you go to the store and you put out not just one rat trap. Come on, don't lie to me, right? You say any other rat finna get it. This is how we do people. Since we don't understand rats, we overkill them. Since we don't understand the gay plight, we overkill them too. That's my stance. Yes, ma'am.
Are you pro entrepreneurship or pro corporate world jobs?
Okay, first off, that's a really good question. That's a really good question. I'm pro entrepreneurship, but I'm not against corporate jobs either. Okay? There's a reason why, because I understand how money works. I also understand that you can use your corporation, your corporate job to become an entrepreneur. I understand. In fact, let me forget all the hypothetical. I took their money, saved 10%, then started saving 20%, and it became who I am today off of their money. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I suggest all of you do that if you have a job. But if you don't, that's okay. But I'm definitely pro entrepreneurship. But we were pro entrepreneurship in the 18th century and the 19th century. We were. It wasn't until the Industrial Revolution and the rise of college, which the church invented college, by the way. So good job. Shout out to the church if you're a church. The church recognized in Europe, hey, the shoe people have a shoe guild. The carpenter has a carpenter guild. And where you had in the guild, you had a student, you had an apprentice, and then when the apprentice developed a masterpiece, the apprentice became a master. And then the master would then go start their own guild. Guild just means a school for this. The church said, well, we need a school for this. And it became what we now call the university. Okay? But until then, we were all about entrepreneurship. Y'all seen it. My man Soulja Boy went on TV. Come on, I know I got a balanced crowd. Mm-hmm. Went on TV, and they was like, "Why you got so many so many products or whatever?" And that was the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Yeah.
Okay, it was inappropriate. It was grossly irresponsible. As an entrepreneur, you're supposed to have products. You can't be a millionaire without them. I'm definitely pro entrepreneur, but I definitely am pro corporation because everybody don't want to be an entrepreneur. As a matter of fact, I'm in the minority. I don't think all of y'all should be entrepreneurs. If you can't take pain, don't be an entrepreneur. I wouldn't dare tell you, hey, ask me all these tough questions if I didn't know how to take pain. Somebody is rubbed the wrong way already. But I'm just telling objective truths. I ain't even gave my opinion yet. I haven't. You haven't heard my opinion one time. And I politically skated around at abortion. Woo! Right? Had to do that and then gave objectivity, right? Cool. Go ahead. Next one. Let's get him real quick.
I just wanted to kind of touch on the reparations in a sense, in my opinion, and kind of see how you feel about that, because I know a lot of people at the average intelligence think of reparations as a free check, and Then when you get to the conscious community, they got a whole lot of different variations of what it means to repair. Everything kind of centered around the idea of repairing what the struggle brought through.
Fair enough.
Okay. And in my opinion, you know, we have what the difficulties that arose here on American soil. We have a multitude of difficulties that occurred on African soil. And I just think like the central focus of any kind of reparation, as opposed to the psychological fixing the psychological damages or whatnot, is to stimulate some type of financial interactions in between these two continents. As far as like if Sparkle want to sell designs for shoes, and she wanted to order some type of use some type of fabrics that come from Africa. Well, I think, you know, I think she should have some type of, I think from a federal government level, or from a federal stance, that there should be some type of leverage there to help these two.
We do it for Chinese people that start the nail salon.
Exactly, at least at ground zero. And I don't think, you know, because when you start thinking about free
Asian people, I should say.
You start thinking about free checks, and you have a lot of people, but when you start talking about something that really makes sense, as far as this is one thing, like I don't think nobody could deny that, you know. But I think that should be like the heart of what we trying to establish, as far as repairing what's broken in both hemispheres.
No, yeah, that's definitely different hemisphere. You're asking the most intelligent questions today. And can we clap for him? That was a very good question. You know what? To be honest with you, I never thought about reparations that way. And this is in capitalism. You have what you call markets. And a market just simply means that these people are interested in this product. And if you want to dominate that market, you listen to those people, because you'll spend a lot of time spending money on stuff those people don't want. Remember when the Xbox first came out? It was garbage. It was, because it had this really big dinosaur controller. Mm-hmm. We got so used to the PlayStation. I'm serious. If you think it was one of the worst tech inventions of all time, the Xbox controller. It was terrible. It's really set the Xbox back. Now the Xbox claimed its name to fame, and it's probably #1 console. But the point I'm bringing here, and I'm about to answer your question, is listen to the market. I've never thought about reparations as far as the continent of Africa, but you're in my market. Not because you're black, because I'm running for president. You're the 97%. As long as it's the 97% of people. What is 97%? As long as you ain't controlling 97% of the world's income, you in my market.
Right.
And you just taught me something that I wasn't even thinking about. And it makes total sense. For one, let's call a spade a spade. We've always robbed Africa of its resources. Period. Point blank. China's doing it right now. Right now. Oh, man, look. My foreign politics is on point, okay? China's doing it right now. Like, not like later or in 2017. Today, it's happening right now. You look at your map. Look, I dare you to look at your map. Look at the globe. Look at the map. Africa's the biggest continent in the world by 10, times 10. But it shows really small on your map. And every single country of color, same way. Every single European country, super big. It's one of those things. I fully am receiving your view of reparations when it comes to both hemispheres, both continents, and allowing, to make sure I got it right, to having the people of that continent be able to get breaks from this continent to that continent when they buy internationally. Right. Got no issue with that, receiving it. I need to do far more thinking of a strategy, because you caught me off guard here, right? Of a strategy, but then there's one problem I immediately foresee. Everybody from Africa. So you got to be, what will happen if I don't have the strategy in place properly? it takes one historian to say, "Oh, well, everybody should get that deal." Right? It takes, and there's no longer reparations no more.
Right.
It becomes something because the truth, Pangea, everyone's from Africa,
Right.
the Mesopotamia between two rivers, right? Everyone, the whole world started in the Fertile Crescent, the whole world, and it just takes one historian like me to say, "Well, you know what, Mr. President, you're right. Good, I found the loophole. I get that too." You know what I'm saying? And the point of the reparation that you want is to make sure your people with your struggle benefit first. So I have to think about a strong policy that would take exactly what you said and then watch any loopholes of what we all right? You know what I'm saying? Because it would totally ruin if I'm not ready. You vote for a leader to be ready. You pray to a God to be ready. You don't say, "God, help me out real quick." "Oh, no, I don't know what I'm doing with that one." You don't pray to God for that, right? For that response. So I got to be ready for that response. I totally received that question. That was a fantastic question. I have no real answer for you. I will, because I've never thought about that in my life. Good job. Clap one more time. Sis, I'm not excited. It's good. It's good. It's really good. It's really good. It's really good. More questions, she said.
Yes.
The director says more questions.
I have questions about your presidential running. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
If you become president, we know how you're going to help the poor, but will you stand by Israel? Where do you stand with our troops? How are you going to help the persecutions Christians are facing in the United States? I want to know where you stand.
First of all, that beats your question. That beats your question, right? Here's what's supposed to happen. What's supposed to happen is I'm supposed to say, Israel. I should. Especially since my degrees are in the Old Testament covenant, right? I am a Jewish scholar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I should definitely do that. We're going to have to deal with Israel's doing in the Gaza Strip, though. We're going to have to deal with that. We're going to have to deal with the persecution, murder that the country we always back is doing over there, number one. We're going to have to deal with that. That's not saying I'm against Israel. We're going to have to deal with that. If you don't know, go look it up. Just look up conflict on Gaza Strip. It's inappropriate. Both sides. Did you hear me say both sides?
Mm-hmm.
Both sides. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate. We got to deal with that first. We have to. Because I don't get to be just the president of the 97%. Because the president has a world obligation too. And the moment I look to foreign policy, there's a 97% over there. And I'm telling you, whoever asked this question, the 97% in Israel right now are being murdered through genocide, period, point blank. So we got to deal with that first. That's a very unpopular response. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's a very unpopular response. Extremely unpopular response. I just lost more voters. You know what I'm saying? It's a very unpopular response, but it's the right response. It's the right response. It's the right response. You can't buy me. It's the right response. Before I do, we already got backing in Israel that I can't overturn. I mean, I guess I could with an executive order, but you know, be undoing stuff that don't make sense because undoing stuff will create me more problems. So immediately, practically understanding your question, I had to go in and keep everything the way it is right now. But then the first thing I got to do is stop what's going on over there. It's no different than me and you on the job together. Now, he done cussed you out. He wrong. But you slapped him. Now, I got to deal with you slapping him before I could deal with him cussing you out. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
That's common sense. I told you, I almost wanted to say common sense politics, okay? Now flip that. It's damn near illegal to be Christian. Let's just call a spade a spade. No, let's just call, I was just hard on Israel. Now I gotta be hard on everybody else. It's damn near illegal to be Christian. You can't be Christian at work. Whoever, I'm sure that's a she. Is it a she? That has to be. 'Cause only women are that intelligent. Okay. So many different things that are wrong, but some of this stuff we deserve, right? I mean, we were over. I'm trying to watch my words here. We gave our own bad rep to ourselves. I'm a Christian, and so I'm including we. I'm just woke, right? I'm just woke. I strongly respect the Bible. I'm probably the worst Christian on planet Earth. I probably am. You know, just to be real with my own faith walk, right? You know, I don't do stuff. I'm a beer drinking Christian that likes Cuban cigars. It probably makes me unholy to half the population. It does. I don't care because I like my Cubans, I like my beer, and I like to travel and sample different beers from different parts of the world. That doesn't really make me too Christian. You know what I'm saying? But it's so 97% though, isn't it? The Christian struggle in America, I'm not sure where the persecution of American Christians happen in America. I know where it's happening in Nairobi, Kenya. I know where it's happening in Africa. I know where it's happening in Russia and China. I know the fact that if you want to go do missionary work in China, you need to put teacher down on your on your, what you call it? Visa, and not Christian or not pastor or not reverend or something like that. You need to put teacher. Like, I know these things because I do missionary work. Like, I know these things. I have a friend that teaches college in Romania. Romania just got its freedom 20 years ago. To underground, well, not now, but 20 years ago, to underground churches. I get those struggles. I'm having a hard time seeing where the Christian struggles in America. I'm having a hard time because I do prison ministry. If you look me up in the state of Texas, I am approved to do prison ministry, and I've been doing it, I don't know, almost 10 years. And the only time I see real ministry is in prison. It's the only time I see real ministry. It's in prison. When I see real people who are really struggling, who have to listen to me and go back and get raped or something, that's in prison. I'm struggling to see what our struggle is. No disrespect to all of you Christians. What's your struggle? Who got the kitchen? Who is somebody cooking sausages or macaroni? Like, what's the struggle? I'm struggling to see how the black church takes $150 million a weekend and we call it a struggle. The struggle is our financial intelligence. I'm struggling to see how the white church triples that. You know what I'm saying? It's not a struggle in America, but you live in a post-Christian era to where most people are not spiritual than they are spiritual. My immediate response, I know more what you're asking, is be kind and you won't get killed. I'm serious. Stop being racist Christians. Stop being bust your head open with this Bible Christians. Be more like Jesus, and maybe it'll get a little easier. Am I saying Jesus had it easy? No. Because the more you be like Jesus, the more you're going to get kicked in the face. Your skin will get whipped off. But America's a safe place considering everywhere else. I'm struggling with that part of the question. As far as the Israel part of the question goes, I'm with Israel, obviously. But we need to address what Israel's doing. Now, that's a private conversation between me and Israel that don't need to be, I'm not going to correct you in public. You know what I'm saying? You my son. Hey, let me whoop you in front of these kids. Now you ain't got no influence with your friends. I'm not going to do that. But Israel needs to stop doing that so I can fix what's going on. until you stop killing folk, I can't fix it. I can just keep supporting. And damn it, I'm tired of support only. I want fixes. Fair enough? All right. Let's get one more and then we go back to the audience. Oh, director said come to the audience. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to know how you felt about universal health care. Switzerland and Singapore have universal health care, and they only spend a fraction of what we spend.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I'm for universal health care. Period. It's one of those common sense things again. I've said, I really always have my slogan that. And it's one of those common sense things. And we got some issues here, though, with the universalism. Because the universal health care, I'm for, but you got issues with it because the system isn't designed to support it. In 2006, I caught pancreatitis. I was doing bad stuff. I totally drank a whole lot of alcohol, okay? Now, I don't want you to think that I caught pancreatitis because I was praying. No! It was Kappa weekend. I ain't gonna lie to you. If you don't know what that is, you gotta come down. Just look up Kappa weekend, Galveston, Texas. You understand? I'm just being real with you. And boy, it was a good night. 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 I was just too real. It was too real. And then boom, my pancreas inflamed, and then I had to go to the hospital. And then when I got the bill, because I had to stay in the hospital, it was like IPO, nothing by mouth or whatever it's called. When I got to the hospital, I got my bill. They charged me $25 for a pair of gloves. A pair. Like two. As in left hand, right hand, gloves. It's $25. The system can't support universal. The current system we have can't support universal health care. It can't. We got to fix the system and the health care at the same time. You know why? Because money creates greed. And as long as I can charge you $25 for a pair of gloves, and I don't know if you know IV bags, that's like saline solution. Mm-hmm. Man, that costs like $1.75 to produce. Look it up. We charge $100 for that. And the crazy thing is, it's unregulated. One hospital can charge, and another hospital can charge for the same thing, two different things. And then on top of that, heroin is the same thing as morphine, chemically. But if it's in the hospital, it's a Schedule I drug. If you got it on you, you going to jail. Mm-hmm. The system needs to be fixed immediately. I'm for it, 100% for it. But fixing that system with people who actually got more money than me and the government, it's a whole different case. That being said, there's only one real solution. Lobbying. That's your real problem. Your real problem is lobbying. You got two real problems. You got lobbying. Lobbying is, so you get Congress, and then after you get out of Congress, you go be a lobby. Lobbying means that I'm going to pay you to vote a certain way. Lobbying, you get it? That's the real problem. But then what they do is they put dog ears on bills. This is the real problem is lobbying, and then the real problem is dog ears on bills. Here's what happens. You'll say, okay, we're not going to pass this bill no more. Yay! You do your little fist pump, and America won. The people won. 97% won. Then you lobby and say, well, don't put it on the bill. Don't make it a bill. Just in this bill on page 997, have this paragraph that says what I wanted in the first place. Mm-hmm. So now I passed the bill of passed the bill passed the bill of farmers getting paid for their crops, but in that bill, I had $300 billion reserved for letting me do insulin this way. It's called dog earing. It's when we attach something that has nothing to do with the bill to something that's on the bill and it passes right through. That's the real problem. I'm for universal health care. I'm also for eradicating that dog earing stuff. And I don't want to kill all dog earing, but what is inappropriate needs to go. I don't want to kill all lobbying, but what is inappropriate needs to go. If it's not for the people, it needs to go. If it doesn't serve the 97%, it needs to go. If it only serves corporations that employ you but won't pass their wealth to you, it needs to go.
Right.
Fair enough? Mm-hmm. Cool. Now time for a few more, I suppose. No, you get right here. What time is it?
6:34.
Oh, we got plenty of time. Okay, good.
Okay, I want to get your policies, your opinion on immigration, because while I don't agree with, I think Donald Trump is kind of extreme, and I think the wall, me personally, is a crazy idea, but I really want to hear your opinion on it. But I will say this: at every job I've ever been at, I have worked with people who have gotten here illegally. So I do know that there are people that come across the border illegally, not just from Mexico.
Okay.
Mexico.
Now you're talking
Guatemala,
smart.
Honduras.
Can we get out of Latino though?
Well,
because most immigrants are not Latino.
Well, I'm saying from personal experience.
Okay,
I'm
fair.
not saying
Well, you live in
that's
Texas, though.
all of them.
Yeah, you
I'm
live in
saying
Texas.
me from
That's right.
personal
That's fair.
experience,
That's fair.
what I've experienced. So I do know that there are those that are coming here illegally, right? So I do know that something has to be done about that. So
Sure.
I wanted to know your opinion as a presidential candidate. What's your take on immigration and how would you handle it?
Is that the only two questions you want to know? What's my take and how I handle it, or would you like to know all the woke stuff behind it?
Everything.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Because if I tell you how I handle it, I could have scared you past that real quick. Let me the real political answer. So I answer the real political answer, right? But it is true though. My take is I'm for immigration. Obviously, you can't have any economy without immigration. You can't. You can't. America has an H-1B1 visa. You may know about that. We get all our G6 from other countries. They build microchips and cell phones, and then boom. In 2019, what's happening is the people that just read an article I just read 2 days ago, the people with H-1B1 visas say they put all their life into America and they feel like they need to go to another country because they're not getting what they paid for. They're not getting back. They have nothing to show for it. This is how. The way we built this country is we've hired smart people. That's how we went to the moon. Oh, Germans. Oh, yeah. That's how, give me all the rockets. Give me all them scientists. The NASA program in the 60s, not today, with respect, was simply the German program. The Nazi program with the flag stamped on it, right? And we went to the moon July 20, 1969. What I'm for is immigration, obviously. Everyone should be for immigration. Just like I'm not for zero unemployment. Let's see, I just pissed some people off there, but I can't be for zero. I'm for like 3% unemployment, 4%. But if everybody had a job, wouldn't nobody work? I can't fire you. It's fair. There would be no reason for you to work hard if everybody had a job. Every great economist would tell you need about 3 to 4 unemployment so you could have some natural fear about just coming to work. So I ain't doing no work today. Stuff like that. You're in Texas, but most of his immigration is Latino. Okay. Now I'm going to preface the rest of this short answer, and I'll get to a longer answer, with my bias. This is the first time I'm going to give you my bias because I speak Spanish. So I have empathy for Latinos. You get it? And I'm unqualified to answer a question without empathy when it comes to Latinos. Period. You got that part? Therefore, a short answer is, everybody deserves a break. Get out of the short answer. Let's get to the statistics now. No more of my opinion. I just wanted to give you that in fairness, okay, as transparency. All those people he talked about, they pay taxes. Don't get it twisted. They pay taxes. They pay taxes two ways: when they get their check or when they spend it. They also pay into a Social Security they'll never get. I want you. That's not what you're gonna get on the media. You're not gonna get that on the media, right? You're just not going to get that. You're not. They pay taxes. If they get paid under the table, they still got to spend that money. As long as they're in Texas, they're going to pay that 8.25% tax. Therefore, Texas wins for immigration. Yes? That's facts. This is math, right?
Yeah.
But it's 90% not being paid under the table. They get paid. Checks. Fight could come out. Because you do know I'm not fit to pay you. If I don't let tax come out your check, I mean I gotta pay them. Now how much business savvy does that make? For me to say, oh, come over here for free. I'll pay the taxes too. The whole propaganda argument that they're not paying taxes is a lie. It's just propaganda. It's propaganda. They pay taxes. And they pay into Social Security, which your grandma is living off of, that they'll never get. And that's fair. Facts, right? Well, I don't want you to agree with my facts. Am I spitting facts that you can go Google if you want to? That's what I'm asking. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm asking you to agree with me. Mm-hmm. Now, even deeper. Immigration at an all-time low, according to NPR. That's a reputable source. 2019. Immigration, last time I checked, is 20% or something like that of people have come through the border, through immigration, period. Illegal. Here's the way immigration works. There's two things you need to know. For one, walls don't stop planes. Can we just be real about that?
We agree.
Most immigration happens from people just overstaying their visa. That's it. I was just in India. I could have just stayed. I would actually enjoy myself. And I'm rich. And so I was like 50 times rich in India. I need you to process that information. I could have stayed in India with my American money and balled out of control. Just bought some stuff. You get it? And paid pennies on the dollars. I was giving out $500 tips in India because it was cool. Right? You know what I'm saying? Right? I could have just overstayed my visa. I'd be now immigration. You do know I didn't cross a boat into India, right? Mm-hmm. That Atlantic is something serious. We call it the pond, but it's a bigger than a pond. You know what I'm saying? It's something serious. Most immigration happens, and it's at 20%, all-time low still, on airplanes. They just overstay their visa. If you control immigration, here's what's going to happen. There's a natural... Come here. You cold and stuff, too.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. All these people in here, we get hot real quick. Now, I want you to stand. Are we both on camera?
Yes.
Now, turn this way. There's a revolving door of immigration. As long as you freely with control. Proper control. Allow immigration to happen. I want you to stand where I'm standing, okay? Okay, go ahead. I come over, I work a little bit. She's there. She just went home. Make my money, I go back home, and I take care of my mom. Okay? Let's turn around. You working now, you take care of your mom. I get to the American money, I come back. This is how immigration works. And I do this here. Okay, thank you very much. You can sit back down. I just want to visualize that for you. Mm-hmm. You do know that I went to India and did the same thing. I went to India with money, made money, then came back and took care of my kids. That's how immigration works, period. If you go to Cancun, you're not going to Cancun and be like, I'm going to stay here. No, you're going to spend money. Mm-hmm. You're going to come back home, clock in, and you're going to take care of your kids. That's immigration. When you stop the flow of that rotation, now all the people who are here that would have came back home, whenever, I don't know when, depending on whenever their visa would expire or whatever, when their job, their contract would have been over, that construction contract, that strawberry contract, all that stuff, What happened over? You stop them. Now they say, well, I can't go over. They try again, and they just settle. And they settle in Arizona, in California, in Texas, or in Miami, because, you know, all these coastal states. They do that. And that causes more of an immigration problem than anything else. That's data. I'm a nerd. That's data. I'm for immigration. I'm even for immigration reform. So are Democrats for immigration reform. Don't let the 97%, you have been fooled by propaganda. Propaganda would tell you that only Trump wants to stop immigration. Democrats been trying to stop immigration, and Republicans disagree. Now Republicans trying to stop immigration, and Democrats disagree. And that's why I'm running for president, because those two parties getting on my last nerve, hurting the 97%. That's why I'm not neither. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to be asleep. There's one government. You want blue control or red control? And I ain't got time for either. I do you right?
Mm-hmm. Appreciate it.
Yeah, 2 more questions.
2 more questions.
How are you going to deal with medical insurance issues?
Woo.
I have lupus and have no choice but to go without insurance, because even with Obamacare, I wasn't able to obtain insurance because it was still going to cost $300 to $400 a month. How are you going to help us be able to obtain good medical care?
Do you know who that person is?
I don't.
What
She did.
What state they live in? Actually, before you tell me, the Affordable Health Care. First off, the Affordable Health Care Act was not the first plan that Obama had since it was single payer insurance. Since they bring up Obama, it wasn't the first plan. He settled on a great plan, which was Affordable Health Care Act, which they didn't deem Obamacare. Any state where there was a blue governor, Obamacare works just fine. If there's a red governor, it does not. That's data again. Wherever they stopped it, it don't work right. That's data. And is that fair to the 97%? You vote for people to take care of you, but if you voted for the opposite party, you now have this lady's problem.
She said Texas.
Texas, red state. Texas it's still killing Obamacare, right? So that's a problem right there, number one. That there was a red agenda against healthcare, which is the problem. That's not 97% focused. There is no red agenda. There is no blue agenda. There's a 97% agenda. I'm not trying to leave out the 3%, but they rich. They good. They don't even got, you do know, they don't even worry about insurance. Y'all do that, they just pay cash, right? Y'all better not even think about that. They just pay cash. They just have a baby and pay cash for it. It's cheaper that way. It is. It is. It's far cheaper. What? It's far cheaper that way. Why would I let you give me some principal insurance? Insurance and stuff. It's crazy. Cash. Right there. Don't touch my credit. It's cash. Far easier. A 97% shouldn't have a blue or a red agenda. See, I don't have an agenda. I have a 97% agenda. This is why I told you straight up, I have a black agenda, but it can't just be a black agenda. But I do, and I'm willing to flat-footedly stand and say, oh no, I got black people in mind too. Believe that. No political answer. Oh no. You're going to come up if I'm president. Up. You know what I'm saying? Now, solving her medical insurance problem, Obama actually had a good way to do it. And they killed it. They absolutely killed it. It was, here's how the Affordable Health Care Act was supposed to work. Her $300 insurance should have been somewhere around $75, $100. He needed you and you. How old are you?
39.
Nah, you too old. How old are you?
36.
You too old too. He needed you two. How old are you?
36.
Okay. He needed you two and everybody beneath you, because when he was president, y'all were like 22 or something, you know, y'all were like 30, you know. Okay. You were something. You were in your 20s. He needed a bunch of 20-year-olds to pay into the system. He needed a bunch of millennials to pay into the system. What was that going to do? It was going to lower the rate of people like her. That's why there was a major push of young folk, because you're not going to use the insurance. Not as often. She said she got lupus.
Mm-hmm.
She's there every week. If she ain't there every week, she got the medicine every week. If it ain't every week, it's every month. At least every 30 days, she tabbing up that bill. You get it? But not you. When last time you been to the doctor?
3 months.
3 months? Before that? You go to the doctor all the time? You want to people?
Well, I work at a doctor's office.
He working that example. He like, look, I take all my blessings. I'm sitting right here. I feel to scratch in my throat. You got some Z-Packs up in here? So I got you. That makes sense. He work at the doctor's office. When last time you been to the doctor?
Last year.
And then before that? In your 20s, how many times you go to doctors in your 20s?
When
Give me an approximate number.
maybe 5 times.
All right. 10 years, 5 times. Once every 2 years. He needed that money. You know what I'm saying? Versus once every 30 days. And what it was going to do, it was going to put a pool, enough for the pool to where older people or people with pre-existing conditions can borrow from that pool money. This way, nobody would be turned away from a pre-existing condition. Your rate would have been a tad bit higher since she has lupus. She was a pre-existing condition person. Even if they diagnosed her recently, they would have said, well, you've been had it, so it's pre-existing. But she would have been able to borrow from the pool of you young folk, or me, because I'm just as young as Sam. Well, I'm 1 year older than you, but I was in my 20s too. You know what I'm saying? And what would have happened there is all that money would have went down. And that's the proper solution to her problem. The proper solution is to use other people's money to fix her. And we need to develop a healthcare system where we can use other people's money. Who's that? 18-year-olds. And we give them enough money, not $7.25 an hour, right? To pay into the healthcare and give them jobs that say, well, we'll just take your healthcare out automatically free. And they say, Mom, I don't have to write your insurance no more at 25. I'll make it cheaper for you, and I'll just do this when it's the same price. You get it? Mm-hmm. The problem is never her. It's never the price. It's the system. And either they don't know it, or they purposely ain't telling us. But I read. In fact, if you want to get woke, just go to YouTube. How about that? You can learn a lot of stuff on YouTube too. There's a bunch of cats like me out there doing that. We good? Good? Couple more right here.
One final question.
One final question, and then we get him, and then we wrap up.
With every question that has been asked today, how does it all align with your agenda for becoming president?
Waking people up. It aligns on my agenda by waking people up. I'm not just telling you. I could answer all these questions. I could have politically. You do know I got charisma, right? And I'm pretty good with words. I could have just BS'd your way all the way through these questions. I could have. I've got the tools. Mm-hmm. But I answered your questions because I wanted you, when I leave here, to know, hey, man, I remember this guy said this, and research into that. Part of my agenda for the 97% is to educate you into waking up, not having you entertained, but having you educated. Because you're far more profitable to the government entertained, not educated. In the way this system works, in the way my system will work, the more smarter you are, the more educated you are, the more all of us win. You get it? I don't need to be the leader that keeps you asleep so I can keep winning. I need to be the leader that wakes you up so we can all win. Because a rising tide raises all ships. That's the universe, though. That's not even... If you're impressed by that answer, you shouldn't be. That's universal law. If you water all the garden will come up well. If you water a portion of the garden, the other garden will come up. It just won't come up well. That's what happened to us. Right? My agenda is to wake you up. My agenda is to tell you about these ideas. My agenda is to create common sense policies to make sure that we get this done. And to look after 97%. The richer I make the 97%, the faster this economy gets back right, and the less recessions we'll have. We'll continue to have recessions because it's designed that way. It's not. In fairness, it has to always come back to leveling out, right? It can't just always be a boom. It also has to be a bust in everything. You can't always have your heart rate up here. You can't just have a systolic hospital. You have to have a dystolic or a diastolic, depending on how you want to say it, right? You can't just go boom. You got to have the release in your heart too. It's a natural thing. And the economy has to be up and down, no different than the sky has to be up and down. Okay, final question.
Okay, there are certain members of this 97% that you speak about who may not be Christian. Okay,
I know.
Me personally, I'm one of them. I'm not a Christian.
I'm not
okay,
either.
so I just want to know you spoke on, you have some type of biblical belief. You said it's what you went to school for.
Yeah. I went to school for the Bible. I am Christian. I do. I am Christian.
Uh-huh.
I just highly respect all people in all theologies, and even if it's not a theology means God, and if you don't have a Godology, I'm very well versed in all the top 10 religions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, getting to the question, what I would want to know is, if you encountered a situation as president,
Yep.
right? Let's say you get the 97% to believe in you, back you, vote for you, and you encounter a situation as president to where you have an answer to this problem that goes along with your belief system, right? But there's another answer, possibly a better answer, that goes against what your beliefs may tell you should do. Like some
Fair
people with the abortion thing, they're going to decide based on how they believe, right?
Fair enough.
Would you go with the well-rounded scientific, what's going to get us to the best ending result
Yes.
answer, or would you go with your
It's
belief?
not even a question. Yes. It's not even a question. Because what the church taught me ain't my beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Don't confuse the kingdom with the church. Now, I don't mean to be rude,
No.
but there is a difference. Now, let's just take it out of church. Let's put it in any religion. Don't confuse what your teachers taught you with the heart of your religion. Sikhism, for example, just has two main rules, Be right in morality and treat everybody else right. Shit. Now, we add stuff on top of that, but that's the main two things of Sikhism. Main two things of Sikhism. No different. I'm always going to do what is right for people. I do it in my business. I'm really good. Got 3 questions or 3 minutes? Okay. I'm really good, and you know what? It's not about me. It's about you, right? Like, that's the real heart of it. Forget me. Now, I have core beliefs. Forget what I was taught. My number one core belief is we're all connected. And I'm always ride on that belief. Always. I'm always ride on we are all connected. Basically, what happens here is that I will always, come on, you come on in. I will always make a decision that makes sure we're all connected. Period. It's my core belief. It fueled my homosexual answer. You know what I'm saying? It fueled the black answer, and it fueled the immigration answer. If you think about every answer I've given, it was never to, disassociate any people, race, group, ethnicity, anything. I have no problem. I have more fundamental beliefs with you, who is not religious, than I do in a room full of church people. I do. I like people. And I like when people disagree with me, because it lets me get to know you. To agree with me, don't let me get to know you. And for me to want you to agree with me only means I want to oppress you. That's not why I'm running for president. Antonio T. Smith Jr. I'm running for president in 2020. It's our time. Rising 97%. Thank you. God bless you and good night.